it's going to hurt Canadian farmers. Absolutely. It certainly will. And so that does leave, a bit of a sour taste. But I mean, we'll deal with it as best we can.
That's Jeff Kostuik from Verve Seed Solutions in Saskatchewan, Canada. This is the Lancaster Farming Industrial Hemp Podcast. My name is Eric Herlock. On today's show, we're going to catch up with Jeff from Verve Seeds. We'll hear about the company and the new varieties they're working on for this season. And we're going to talk about the recent political climate change and how Canadians feel about Trump's trade wars, how it affects the company, how it affects farmers up there. So we've got some things to talk about. But first, a few words from our sponsors. This episode is made possible with support from King's Agri-Seeds. King's Agri-Seeds has both industrial and CBD hemp varieties available for this spring's planting season. From high-yielding grain varieties to prolific fiber hemp, all seeds are certified and THC compliant. King's carries a wide array of auto CBD and photoperiod sensitive CBD varieties too. New this year are Berry Blossom and Cherry Wine, which boast higher CBD levels. King's is a solid resource for excellent varieties and cultivation advice. Contact Sarah Mitchell today, especially if you're a grain or hay farmer, because she's got some interesting opportunities available for you. So call King's Agri-Seeds today at 717-687-6224 or go to kingsagriseeds.com. This episode is brought to you in part by IND Hemp in Fort Benton, Montana, where they believe in the goodness of hemp. Their mission is to provide innovative agricultural products and services to connect American farmers with the pioneers and businesses that see hemp as a way to bring real and lasting change to our communities and planet. Check them out at indhemp.com. Today's show is brought to you with support from Americhon Cast Hemp, America's premier hemp construction company. Do you want to learn how to build with hemp? Well, Americhon has some training sessions coming up. Next month, there's a 3-day training session in Austin, Texas, March 27th through the 30th. And then in May 7th through the 10th in Bally, Pennsylvania, there's another 3-day training session. This is where you learn how to mix the hemp and the lime, how to operate the lance, how to shoot the hemp at a wall, how to do all of the things, plus more than that. Cameron and the crew at Americhon, they know that you're trying to start a business, and so they offer some really good best practices for bidding, for accounting, things like that. So you don't want to miss these training sessions. I've been to them before, and very thorough and such a great community atmosphere at these training sessions. So go to americhon.com and find out more about the training. I will have that link on the show page for this episode. Anyway, so thank you to Americhon for putting these workshops on and also for your support here on the show. Okay, welcome back. So here we are. It's almost the end of February 2025. There's a lot happening in the world these days. And there's a lot happening here at Lancaster Farming too. And so to that end, I want to introduce you to Sophia Kurzius. Hi, Sophia.
Hi, Eric.
Sophia will be working on the show for a while and will be filling in for me as a guest host in a few weeks. So I just wanted to get you all sort of acclimated to her presence and her voice. So Sophia, welcome to the Hemp Podcast.
Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit?
Well, I'm an audio producer, and I can say I know a lot about audio production, but not a lot about industrial hemp.
Oh boy, well that's going to change. So I look forward to working with you here on the show, and I hope you're looking forward to learning all about industrial hemp.
I sure am.
Cool. All right, well today we have an interview with Jeff Kostuik. He is the general manager at Verve Seed Solutions up there in Canada. With all of the news these days around Canada and the trade wars and the Trump administration, I wanted to talk to Jeff and just get a sense of where he's at on all of these things and to learn a bit about the varieties that they've got, ready for this planting season. So just a heads up, Jeff is in an airport and his audio quality isn't super great. So bear that in mind. Are you ready, Sophia?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go. Jeff Kostuik from Verve Seeds. Welcome to the Lancaster Farming Industrial Hemp Podcast. How are you doing?
Doing fine, Eric. Pleasure to be here for sure.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you taking some time with us today. I know you're traveling. I think you're actually in an airport somewhere between here and Canada. I wanted to check in with you about some of the sort of things in the news that relate to Canada here in the US, but we'll get to that in a bit. I wonder first, could you just give us an introduction? Who are you, Jeff?
Sure. So, Jeff Kostuik's my name. I'm the general manager of a small hemp company up in Canada here called Verve Seed Solutions. And we have our genetics distributed into the US, into pretty all around the world, into South America, Europe, Australia, New Zealand. So we're small but mighty, maybe hemp company would be a better way to put it.
Okay. So I got to know you because you've been down here to Pennsylvania for some of our hemp events, and I know you work closely with Sarah Mitchell at King's Agri-Seeds. A lot of people who have been to the hemp events in Pennsylvania have seen you speak, either at Penn State or King's Agri-Seeds or maybe over at Steve Groff's place. But I feel like we've learned a lot from you. I know you were the first person to point out to me that when you see the goldfinches coming in to the seed, you know it's time to harvest. So
yes,
that's neat. Well, tell me a little bit more about some of the varieties that you're offering this year. Do you have some new hybrids this year, or what can you tell us about your offerings?
Yeah, so we're going through the process in Canada. And for those that don't know, to purchase hemp seed in Canada, it has to be pedigreed seed or certified seed through the AOSTA program. So currently we are developing hybrids. We had a very successful year last year in the small plot research with trials throughout Western Canada. And we also had them in the US, also at certain locations through the multi-state trial. And even in Pennsylvania, I was there last summer, I guess it was, Eric. We did, I was speaking in front of some of our hybrids there. The rollout for commercial availability in Canada has to go through a bit longer process than in the US. So we are working with the Canadian Seed Growers Association to finalize the requirements for producing pedigreed hybrid hemp seed, which will come on to early 2026, actually. And then our first commercial production in Canada will be 2027. But in the meantime, we've got some funding through what's called Protein Industry Canada. As we know, hemp is a very strong protein, animal or plant-based protein. And that's helped us. And so, that's kind of where we're at. The first year of small plot trials, we'll have some field scale production this year. Our partners are Manitoba Harvest in this project under the PIC program. And they're also evaluating the quality of grain overall, because our goal in producing a hybrid crop, of course, is to increase yield. We would like to double the yield essentially in 4 to 5 years. So I always use that 1,000 pounds per acre on dry land in Canada as sort of our average yield right now. And in our early indication from the first year of trials showed 145 to 190% yield increase. So we're very close, and we're very pleased with the results after the first year of trials. So and just to finalize that, it doesn't do us any good if we just double yield if it's not a marketable product. And so that's why the importance of that relationship with Manitoba Harvest, to make sure that we're hitting all the numbers on as far as quality, the dehulling percentage, and for grain. I lost my train of thought because I wanted to make sure that this is for grain production, not for fiber at this point in time. But all the quality parameters have to be met.
Okay. Here in the U.S., we had that AFCO vote for the hemp seed meal for laying hens. Do those really low target numbers for cannabinoids mess you up at all, or how do you navigate around that 10 parts per million and 2 parts per million?
I mean, I would have liked to have seen a larger data pool there before those, but I mean, we had a success, right? We got it over the line, and so it's really to be determined for sure. It depends upon the background genetics with each and every one of them, but I don't want to throw the whole program under the bus at this point in time. It's great that we got that going, but I think again, the move towards hybrid production helps us deal with a lot of these obstacles that come into the road. We can we can take care of them much quicker through a hybrid system than we could just as far as the open colony breeding style.
Okay. And so you're up in what, Saskatchewan?
Yeah, I live in Manitoba myself.
Oh, okay.
Our breeders in Saskatoon, and we've got a lot of production in Alberta. So we're pretty well right across the prairies, but my home is Manitoba, yeah.
Okay. But that's farm country. That's just big open farm country up there.
Yeah. Right from us to our facility in Alberta. Yeah, that's all we see is the open prairies and just different soil types and but yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm curious. There's a lot of news lately surrounding our new administration in Washington, the Trump administration, and maybe it's too early to tell what's actually happening because there's a lot happening. But there's talk of tariffs between the U.S. and Canada, trade wars, and the president, is he joking when he says that he wants to make Canada the 51st state? So I don't know. Are you getting these stories up your way, and how do you feel about this?
Yeah, for sure. The Canadians look at the American news quite closely, for sure, being our neighbor. And I mean, yeah, the rhetoric, I'm not a big fan of, the back and forth and the name calling. I'm not personally, I feel we do need a change in our system with regards to Justin Trudeau. But I mean, I'm still, I feel I'm still adult enough in the room that I'm not into name calling or other things and idle. I'm not saying idle threats, but threats. It's a different way of doing things, and that's what he's made his bed. Essentially, that's his style. So we just have to learn what's the end game. What does he really want? I guess from. I don't think the 51st state is a reality. There certainly would be a strong opposition in Canada.
Oh, I would think so. Yeah.
But yeah, it makes it difficult. We're trying to plan. We've tried to plan. We do have some production in Canada that we ship into the U.S. And so even our distributors like Kings and others, Horizon Specialty Seeds of South Dakota, we want to try to get that seed across the line prior to the tariffs. So it does make things awkward. And I mean, it's really, I'm assuming most of the farmers in America know that this is going to be a burden on them. Like the seed costs will be, incurred by them, the higher seed costs. And I mean, that's the pushback I get from a lot of American farmers already is high seed costs. And this does not help the situation.
No.
Yeah.
How about, I mean, I don't want to draw you into too much political discussion, but I'm curious about maybe how other farmers up there are sort of handling this kind of weird environment.
Yeah, I mean, canola is another one of our large crops, and this certainly would have an effect for canola meal. But at the same time, I mean, it's forcing us to deal with other countries on a larger scale. So China is a very attractive. They love our canola oil also. It's going to hurt Canadian farmers. Absolutely. It certainly will. And so that does leave, a bit of a sour taste and some animosity, I guess you could say, towards. But I mean, we'll deal with it as best we can. And in the long run, it'll open up additional markets, not necessarily just the U.S. dependency. So, it's not something we want to do, but it's something that we'll be forced to do.
Right. Yeah. Is it having any effect on your business now?
Currently, no. I mean, other than just trying to get our ducks in a row to get the seed across the border for this year in particular. I mean, I've always had the plan to produce seed in the U.S. We did so this year. That's, I guess, as far as what the administration wants, that is what they want. I mean, the processing needs to happen in the U.S. There's no doubt about that. That's actually, I'm headed down to North Carolina. That's where I'm at now at an airport, and I'm meeting Sarah from Kings, and we're going in as a group to talk to large processor in North Carolina just to see what the upcoming plans are. So, but yeah, I think there's just a better way That's the politics. I think there's got to be a better way than tariffs to try to come to the same conclusion that we're both after. I know it'll be a challenge for us in Canada, the processing with regards to competition, but I'm when I keep my farmer hat on or my hemp hat, period. I want to see this crop thrive, and I want to see it in consumers' plates more so than it is. So
Yeah, amen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like when you're approaching making deals, there's a way to look at things where, it's not adversarial. It's not like you're a winner and the person you're dealing with is the loser. Like, isn't there a way to do business where everyone wins, where it's beneficial for everyone? And maybe that's a hypothetical question.
Yeah, I think so, Eric. Probably you and I could have a glass of wine or a water or a coffee over discussing that on more level terms. But that's, again, is there a different end game? I don't know, and maybe a lot of people don't know this, but yeah, the things are happening for a reason.
Yeah, yep, and we'll keep an eye on it. All right. Well, I wish you good luck traveling on the rest of your trip to North Carolina. Please tell Sarah Mitchell I said hello. And if the processor that you're meeting with, is open to some podcast interviews, please mention my name, and I would love to hear something about North Carolina processing.
I will, for sure. 100%.
All right.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jeff. Appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, thank you very much.
All right, there you go. That was Jeff Kostuik from Verve Seeds. Thank you for listening to today's show. Sophia, are you still there?
I am.
All right, so that was pretty cool, right? Wasn't you learned a little bit about hemp and maybe some of the interesting international things that are happening?
I did.
All right, well, there's plenty more where that came from. So, my name is Eric Herlock. I'm the senior digital editor here at Lancaster Farming.
And I'm Sophia Cursius.
Until next time, we'll see you in the newspaper.
Bye.
Industrial hemp.
This episode is copyright 2025 by Lancaster Farming Newspaper, part of the Steinman Communications family. Today's show was written and recorded, edited, and produced by Eric Herlock with assistance from
Sophia Cursius.
And the music you hear is courtesy of Bird Shadow.